Okay, so let's begin. So let's begin with our topic for today, that is RESTful APIs. Guys, before understanding this particularly our RESTful APIs, it's important for us to understand this Node.js. What is Node.js? Let's understand. Basically, Node.js is one of the framework of JavaScript. Okay, it's one of the most trending framework in JavaScript. Right now, for a backend in JavaScript, we use this Node.js, and it's not about the Node.js as a one framework. But I'll tell you one thing: right now in the market, it's in very high demand. Why so? Because of the two stack which is popular in market called MERN stack and the mean stack. MERN stack refers Mongo Express React Node, and mean stack refers Mongo Express Angular Node. Because of these two main stack, which is quite trending in market, Node.js become the top trending technology right now. In short, I can say that if you're a fresher or a experienced and looking for a change, learning a Node.js is anyways a very much added to your curriculum, or say your resume. So adding a Node.js is always a best option if you talk to me about the current market trend. Now, why exactly Node.js is popular? Okay, I'll give you two scenarios, guys. Okay, you understand that which one is better one. Let's take one example. There are two ways to deal the customer. The first way to deal the customer is that I'll say in the way like an ATM, that how the ATM machines deal with the customer, how they do. Basically, in that case, we go to the ATM. Okay, we're standing in the queue of the ATM. Now, suppose while standing in the queue of ATM, there are already a few people before you in that queue. So in that case, what happened? You have to stand in a queue and wait for the other person to complete their request. And whenever they have completed their request, so ultimately what they do is, then your turn will come. And on the other side, you cannot go out of the queue. Why? Because ultimately, if we go out of the queue, someone else and take my position. In very short words, we can say that we have to stand in a queue and wait for request to get complete. Correct? That's the one approach. Second approach in dealing the customer is that like a Domino's deal with customers. Now, how exactly Domino's deal with customer? You go to the counter. In that counter, Domino's people will give a token number, and they say whenever the token number is say completed, okay, whenever the token number your token number start appearing, come and collect your pizza. In that case, what happened? You are completely free. You got the token number, now you are free. You can go anywhere. Why? Because in that case you're not bind in terms of like to stay and wait for your turn. In this case, I can serve multiple people together at one place and without impacting the performance. Why? Because when I take your order, after taking your order, I place that order in the back end. Now in the back end, many people are baking that pizza, correct? So ultimately for you, it's not be a trouble. Why? For you, it's like that you place the order and after that you are waiting for it to get complete, and whenever it complete, you get a response from there. So guys, that's basically one other model. So obviously, which one is a better model? Handling a user as a ATM or handling the Domino's is doing? Domino's. Why? Because in this, customers also satisfied that okay, there's something is happening for them. On the other side, it take a less time for the processing. Now, very similar way, guys. Consider that Domino's as an example of Node.js and your ATM as a Java. You can think yourself which one is better. So ultimately, obviously, when Domino's is better, so ultimately in the other sense, your Node.js is better because Node.js work on that principle. There are three words that explain about the Node.js, guys. Let me tell you. So let me open a one text editor. So three words that summarize a detail about the Node.js. Let's see that. single thread, non-blocking, async, input, output. Single thread. Basically what it do is, guys, all the requests that you do is taken over the single thread. All the requests that you do is taken over the single thread. First of all, it processed in an async manner. Async means that multiple requests can process at one single point of time, because they don't block, they don't wait, ask someone to wait, so they keep on going. So it's more or less like that. Without waiting for one thing to get complete, it processing that request. Then non-blocking, because they're not blocking. Async, because multiple parallel requests are keep on processing at same point of time, guys. So these are few reasons that why Node.js is popular. Apart from that, it's a powerful JavaScript framework developed over the Chrome V8 engine. Compile the code directly into native machine. Basically what happened, no, in a lot of term, if I say your other language, what they do, first of all, they convert the code into bytecode. Okay, they convert the code into bytecode, and then from bytecode they convert the thing into the machine code. Whereas it work bit differently. It directly convert the code into the machine code, that it can be directly be accessible by the compiler. So obviously it happened the way that when somebody is able to access that through a compiler, so it become easy for them to process that request. So obviously one level of conversion is removed, and when one level of conversion removed, so obviously the processing of that particular thing become faster, guys. So that is why your Node.js is a preferred way right now in market to process the request. On the other side, used for creating server-side web applications. Basically, it's one of the best place to use the backend. Like it is very similar to like the way it works, like your Python or Java work. Whereas some people compare Angular with Node.js, React with Node.js. Guys, there's no comparison between Angular and the Node.js. Why? Because Angular is a front end and Node is a back end. So ultimately no connection or say your comparison between the Node.js and the React or Angular. And apart from this, it's a right pick for a data intensive real-time applications. Wherever the multiple requests like Instagram, Uber is also using right now. So ultimately Uber is particularly using your Node.js also, guys. Why? Because wherever it comes to processing a multiple requests at one point of time, we have to go through the Node.js as a language. What a feature! It's open source. Guys, when any language is open source, no, it's always beneficial for that case. Why? Because anything which is open source is particularly good to use. Simple and fast, because a lot of people contribute in development and the process become, let's say, development become faster for open sources. It's async, highly scalable, single thread, no buffering, and cross platform. It can be used for any platform. Now, as I already explained the architecture, that in a traditional architecture, what happens is one by one, each request get processed, whereas Node.js work differently. Node.js process all the requests at one point of time. It take all the requests at once and keep processing them parallelly one after the other. Whatever request got complete, we get the response of that, guys. Basically what happened in this case, one more thing, whatever the request got complete, suppose 10 people are requesting something, no, it not wait for all the 10 requests. Whatever request got keep on completing, it keep on responding in very similar way. You order for a cheese burst, I order for a cold drink. Obviously cold drink can be served faster than the cheese burst, so obviously they will serve me the cold drink first, and they will not say somebody order cheese burst before you. So guys, this is how exactly your Node.js architecture work. I hope till now it's clear to all, guys, what is Node.js. Thread means multiple requests processed at one point of time. That's called thread. Thread means if you're requesting for one thing, one request at one place, one request at one place. Now guys, the next thing that come up is your what is REST API. Guys, the trend of building the REST API everywhere. What do you mean by REST API? Basically, REST API is actually refer as your URLs. Basically, it's nothing more than a URL. Whenever anybody want a data, what they will do is they will hit the URL and they will get a data in response. So what exactly it mean? As for every single thing and everywhere right now in a market, everybody use your say REST APIs. Whatever platform they are using, the benefit of using a REST API is that it's like a URL. Okay, it's nothing more like a URL. When anybody hit that URL, they get the response. Full form is representational state transform. It's like that whoever will request, everybody is going to get a same response. Now, whatever request is coming, they try everybody. Suppose you're requesting from mobile phone and ultimately your desktop or anywhere. So wherever you will go, so everybody use a REST API. Okay, I'll show how exactly REST API look like. Now, feature of RESTful APIs. It's simpler than a SOAP. Earlier days, we use SOAP APIs, which is quite heavy to run or quite heavy to create. Now, it's simpler than the SOAP. Next thing, that is support JSON and XML. Mainly support JSON and XML. And apart from that, if I talk about documentation is good, error messages are good, it's quite easy to handle this REST APIs as compared to your other APIs. Apart from that, what are principle of REST APIs? Basically, guys, the principle of REST APIs say it's stateless. Stateless means it don't maintain the state. What does it mean? It means that if you are requesting or I am requesting something, all of us will get the same data. It'll not say it saves some record on the basis of that it give the output, not like that. All of us will get the same response, guys. It's client server based model and it's uniform interface. As I said that anybody request for that, everyone is going to get the same response. That's called uniform interface. Now let me hit any API. To show exactly they look like. Allow me just 1 second. I'll show you guys how exactly the REST API URL look like. It's like a URL, and whenever anybody hit that URL, they will get the same data. So that one URL says slash restaurants. See guys, we got the data, and to see in a more better way, no, in the Chrome always add one extension that is called JSON viewer. JSON viewer is an extension, guys. The data that you are getting from the API, you will get that in the better mode. So let me show you. We'll simply say JSON viewer Chrome extension. Let us simply go and add that to Chrome. Now I'll show the difference. Okay. Now see guys, when I hit this URL, see this is the data that we were expecting. See, and that's how this is a REST API. Now, if I need this data, I hit from a mobile phone, I hit from a desktop, I hit from a laptop, anywhere I'll hit, I will get the same data. And if I give this URL to you guys also, you guys are also going to get the same data, guys. That's what the REST API. In this, we have method like get, post, put, delete. To get the data, we to like this is a get request. To insert the data, we use post. Then for updating the data, we use put, and to remove the data, we use delete, guys. When will the REST API will be useful? Whatever website you are using currently, no, everywhere you are using a REST API. What is server side, client side? When the things you interact with, the screen, the display part is like a client side, and the backend processing of that is a server side. Now I'll show you how to build that API. Okay, so let's start creating that. So let's make the one sample code for that case. I'll make one folder, say REST API. Now guys, for creating that REST API, you need to have some packages installed with you. So I have to do one thing right now in my laptop. I cannot directly install that package. So basically we are going to use something called as Express here, guys. For creating a Node API, we have to use something called as Express. So basically Express is a one of the framework that we use for Node.js. Okay, so I'm going to use the Express. So I'll show you what exactly it is. I'll open my news window. I'll open this folder called REST APIs. Over this folder, you will see I have one package.json. This package.json is containing, guys, what all package I'm gonna use. I'm gonna mainly use one package called Express, one package called MongoDB. Okay. While creating the API, I'm gonna use a MongoDB as my package. We'll make a one file by the name of app.js, server.js, whatever name you want to give. I'll give the name as app.js. Now, the very first thing is whatever package you are using now, guys, you have to require that package. We call import that package. We do like this. We'll say var express equal to require express. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm requiring a package by the name of express. So express is one of the package or a framework which is available in Node.js, and maximum places you will see this package for making the APIs, guys. Now we have to make an object of that. We do like this, where app equal to express. Why we do that? Because we have the method from there. So we use where app equal to express. Then after that we define the port number over which is application run. We'll say where port equal to suppose 9800. Any port number you can give. And then you have to make your application to listen to the port number, guys. How we'll do? We'll say app.listen to the port number, and then we had this function is called callback function. Why? Because this function is waiting for request to get complete. Whenever the request got complete, this function will fire. We call them as a callback function. Right now I take only one parameter, say error. In case of error, if you got error while running, it will throw me the error. Else we write console.log and we write server is running on port 9800. First of all, we are going to define the get route. How? We write app.get. Okay. Then in this we write dot simple slash, and I say it take two parameter. One is request, one is response. Arrow, curly bracket, and we write response dot send hi from Node.js. It's very simple API route generated. Your API route got generated already. You created one server running on the port number 9800, and then after that you have defined one route called slash route. Whenever anybody go to localhost 9800, they will say hi from Node.js. Now let me show you how we try it. So in package.json, we write a start command, guys. And the start command, we have mentioned this node app.js. Go to the folder. So Node.js must be installed in a system to run the application. Desktop, and I type node npm start simple. It's a 9800. Just go to browser and type localhost 9800. See guys, you got hire from Node.js. Suppose you have one route for restaurant, one route for your home. How I'll do? I'll make one more route, say about. Hi to, I say about page. Now stop this, start it. There's a forever call node-mon also. Now if somebody go to localhost, it see like that. When somebody go to /about, they will see hi from about page. So ultimately guys, this is the way you start defining your routes. And this is how we define the route in the Node.js. So in this we require our package, we define the port number, we make our application to listen to the port number, and we define the routes there. Now next thing is I'll show you that I have a MongoDB running, okay, on my server. Let's see. Mongo is a database. I'll just show DBs. I have one database called restaurant. So show collections. Now we'll say db.restaurant.find. Now basically guys, I have some data which is in my database. Now I'll show you how to make a proper API, get API with this database. For doing that, what I'll do is I'll first of all make a connection to my MongoDB. I'll require that package MongoDB. We'll say var Mongo equal to require MongoDB. Then we write var Mongo client any name equal to Mongo dot Mongo client like this. So I've required that MongoDB guys. Now it can be any database. The default port over which MongoDB run is 27017. Let's see that. We write const Mongo URL is MongoDB :/ localhost 27017. That's my port number. We'll write const DB database name and const collection name. So my collection name means guys table name. In this case, my collection name is restaurant. Now we have to make a connection with MongoDB. You have to call that. How will do? When you create a server, you write like this now. Mongo client dot connect. In this, we'll give Mongo URL, and either we get the error, either we get the client arrow curly braces. If we got any error, we'll say console.log or throw error while connecting. Else we'll say db equal to client dot db and database name. And guys, my database name is restaurants. That's my database name. Okay. Then inside that we'll make this server to listen. Now what exactly we did? We have made the database connection. This is a URL, this is a package, and this is a way to connect. Once it is connected to database, now I'll make a call and get the data. How? So in the response.get, we'll write db.collection collection name. Your collection name is restaurant. The query is dot find. Find. The data you will get, guys, it's an array. Array. Now either you get the error, either you get the result. Arrow. If you got error, then simply write throw error, else well say response dot send result. So guys, we connect with the database and we try to get the output. Let's just see. I'll start my server. Missing a const declaration somewhere. Okay, just say here let. Now just try. See guys. Now this and this, no difference. This is, we just created this one get API, and this is how it was a real API. See, exactly, we are able to replicate our real API. That's how we're done. I hope you liked it. Thank you. Bye bye.